Hey everybody, it's Cindy here, and today I wanted to talk to you about creating a sense of completion in your relationships and the importance of doing this. And I'm going to share a personal story around that as well to illustrate my point. But a sense of completion in a relationship is a sense of finishing either the relationship or something in the relationship, sort of putting a clearing, like cleaning the slate in a relationship, or putting kind of a peaceful feel to the relationship, even kind of an amen. You know how we say amen at the end of prayer, or some people do in their traditions. It kind of puts an amen on the relationship. And the reason why completions in relationships are important are several. One is that, or reasons you might want to do this, is that perhaps there's a breakup happening or a divorce, some kind of ending to a relationship that's coming, and you want to finish it in a nice, peaceful way so you feel complete. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you want to complete some part of it that's been conflictual, and you want to kind of lay that to rest so you can move forward in the relationship. Another reason is if death is imminent in someone's life that's close to you, and you want to make sure you've completed the relationship before the death. And the other reason is simply for you're looking for peace in a relationship. You're looking for peace around something, and you have some emotional clutter to clear out. So there's lots of reasons to make sure you feel complete in your relationships on a day-to-day basis, actually. So how do we complete something? Like, what does that mean to complete something? Well, I suggest you ask yourself 3 questions. When you think about this person or this situation that you want to complete, what is it that you most need to say to this person? What is anything that you need to ask this person? What questions do you have, remaining questions do you have for this person? And are there any requests you would like to make of the person? Okay, so, or requests in terms of the relationship. So what do you need to say, really say and get off your chest, or ask? Maybe there's something you want to know from them, you want to understand from them, or what requests do you want to make, if anything, of them? And to create the completion, this can take many forms. I think ideally, if it's possible for you to have a face-to-face visit where you're sitting right with the person, that is ideal. That isn't always possible. You don't want to wait till that is possible if things are more imminent than that, or if you live 3,000 miles from each other and you really feel a need for this conversation now. You want to have a telephone conversation or a Skype conversation, some FaceTime, any way that you can see them, Zoom, any way that you can actually see the person would be better. But if it has to be just on the phone and you just hear each other, that's okay too. It's better to do it that way than not do it at all. Or write a letter to the person or an email, getting it all down on paper somehow. Or if this person is deceased already and you need to put a sense of completion on the relationship, it's okay. You can also talk to their grave, for example, or write them a letter. Or do this in the form of some kind of prayer that you might practice, some kind of spiritual practice you have that can help you kind of tie up the loose ends there. So there's lots of ways to do it. I'm sure you can think of others too. Lots of ways to do it, lots of reasons to do it. And so I will share a little bit about a recent experience of mine. I have this grandfather who was 96 and a half years old, and a grandmother who was 93 years old, and they were married for 76 years, and she died 5 months ago. And and I felt very complete in my relationship with her. I went and saw her often. We didn't have any conflict or any, anything. Just a lovely relationship. I adored her. And so I felt very complete when she died. And then my grandfather has been ailing, of course, too. He's 96. He's got dementia, or he had dementia. I was in the nursing home for the last year and a half, and so forth. And so he lives about 3.5 hours from me, drive from me. And so I was visiting quite about every 4 or 6 weeks. It was average for me to see them. Well, I would say 6 to 8 weeks was average when they were both alive. And then I started going more frequently with him because I saw him even aging more. Anyway, so I saw him. I was to go on this vacation to Colorado recently. You may have heard me mention on a previous video. And I was driving out to Colorado. I was 400 miles away from home in Kansas, and he lived in Omaha, Nebraska. And I got a call from my brother. And my brother said, I just want you to know that Grandpa has become unresponsive in the last few hours, and his breathing is laborious. I just wanted to let you know. And I said, oh, Kevin, he's dying. And he said, oh, no, I wasn't calling to put any alarms in your head, and I know you're on a trip, but I just wanted to keep you informed. And I said, no, he's dying. I had worked at a hospice for 10 years long ago, and up in Iowa, and I was very educated on signs of death and so forth that are typical, and I felt like that's what he was telling me that he was seeing. And so I was 400 miles from home and 200 miles from picking up a girlfriend of mine from the Denver International Airport, who was flying in from Seattle. And then I had another girlfriend, Michelle, flying in from New Jersey. And the three of us, for the first time, were supposed to spend a day together in Boulder, Colorado. We hadn't seen each other all together in 5 years. I've seen them both since a few times, but all three of us together, it's been 5 years. So we had that was my first day of vacation planned in Colorado. And right after my brother called me, my aunt called me and told me the same thing that was going on with my grandfather. And so I knew this is it, or I felt like it was it. But people can linger. You never know if it'll be a day, a week, a month, or what. But anyway, I pulled over and I was shaking. And I thought, my grandpa's going to die here. He's going to die, and I'm supposed to be on a 10-day trip to Colorado. Do I keep going to Colorado? Do I keep heading to Colorado, or do I turn right now and head to Nebraska, to him, to his bedside, and join the bedside vigil that had started with my family? And I thought about it, and he was unresponsive, so he wasn't awake. He wasn't responding to anyone. And I thought, no, I'm complete in this relationship. I am complete, and I'm sure he feels complete in his relationship with me. And what a blessing that was to feel complete. I'd just seen him 2 weeks before, had a lovely visit. I had seen him 2 weeks before that, and 6 weeks before that. And, and every time, for years and years and years and years and years and years, most of my life, really, we always say that I love yous. We always have a sweet visit. We always have a lot of affection. There's nothing ever between us, ever, that's been conflictual. He's my grandpa, So, but the last couple times I saw him, I thought, he's changing. And I told him in the privacy of our visits, I said, it's okay if you want to go be with Grandma. I love you. I would miss you, but it's really okay if you want to go be with Grandma. And, we will be okay here. And I love you so much. And, so I felt very, very, very complete. This is the whole reason for me to bring this up, is I felt complete in a way that I could let myself keep going to Colorado and fulfill, hopefully fulfill the commitment that I had made with my girlfriends to meet them in the middle of the country, since they were both coming to the same place at the same time, and pick them up at the airport and that kind of thing. And so it's a gift always to yourself to have your relationships complete no matter what's going on, because it's a peaceful feeling, it's a good feeling, it's a calm feeling. Not leaving things unsaid or undone is a wonderful, wonderful feeling anyway. But for me, in this particular circumstance, it was a huge gift because I felt like I could go ahead, and I did. I drove on to Colorado. Some would judge that decision, but I did go ahead, and I went and was able to be with my girlfriends for the day we had planned, and he died that night. He died the night of the day so I got to be with the girls. Then I left Colorado the next morning, and the rest of the trip got sacrificed. But the most unusual part of the trip that was most difficult logistically to pull off, in terms of us three girls getting together who live in three completely separate parts of the country, was able to be fulfilled. And the reason it was because I was complete in my relationship with my grandpa, and I could drive further from him and let go of the outcome of when his death would be without being at his bedside, knowing that he would be okay with that, I was okay with that, and we could move on from there and so forth. So there are lots of reasons to be at peace in all of your relationships, no matter what the relationships are. So think of ones that feel incomplete to you. Think of ones that feel like there's something dangling that hasn't been adequately resolved, or even something you've always wanted to tell someone that you haven't told them yet, and tell them. Or maybe you have a question for them that you've always wanted to know the answer to that only they can give you, and ask the questions. It's okay to do this. Life is short and precious, and the people that really care about us really care about us, and so they will respond. And if someone in your life does not respond well to you wanting to do this, needing to do this, then that tells you even more about your relationship, and you can complete it in another way. But it's very important. So please give yourself that gift and think about ways that you can complete some of the relationships in your life that may be not completely tended to at this point. And I will talk to you again soon.